Hello 701s. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the workflow of 701, and I'm calling this video the system and flow of learning in 701. It's my intention here to help you see the pattern of learning that we'll go through for each of the modules in the course. My intention is to bring some clarity and also bring a sense of calm into the course so that you know what's coming next and how each module should flow and what the expectations are going to be. So the overall course structure for this course is that there are 6 modules. Each module is 2 weeks in length. Now the modules are bookended by a soft launch, which we've already gone through, and then culminating activities, which will take place during the last 2 weeks of the semester. During that time, there'll be a final project and a project showcase. And I think you'll see as I go through the explanation of the course, you'll see that each module will help you build up to the final project and then doing the showcase. So it won't be just brought on you at the last minute. You'll be developing that piece by piece throughout the course. So the modules are structured, as I said, 2 weeks in length. Modules will be starting to launch on Wednesdays after 8 p.m. and they will close on Tuesdays. Now I'm going to say this just so that there isn't any confusion. The soft deadline for any activities for the close of a module is on Tuesdays. But I want to let you know that I won't be looking at your assignments until Thursdays. So it's completely okay if you need to make some adjustments and you're going to turn your work in on Wednesday. If you do, just send me an email. Totally fine. And we can adjust that deadline accordingly. So the idea of modules starting on Wednesdays, and this would be every other week because they're 2 weeks in length. I know that might sound a little bit odd, but Nicole Weber and I, in talking through the structure of the program and the flow of modules, one of the things that we realized is that when instructors have due dates on Sundays, what typically happens then is that it pushes a lot of people to have to spend their weekend working on course content. That's just kind of how things work out, even if you try to schedule it other ways. Especially right now when we're all dealing with a lot of complexity in life due to COVID and other issues. It's more important than ever for us to have some downtime on the weekends. And, so I want to do everything that I can in structuring this course to, provide at least a little bit of opportunity for you to have downtime with your family, or just downtime to take advantage of, whatever your needs are. So modules will begin on Wednesdays every other week. They will conclude on Tuesdays of every other week. And like I said, soft deadlines. We don't need to really stress out over meeting a deadline by midnight on Tuesday nights. Okay, module contents. So there will be learning materials provided for each module, and those will be open for you during the first week of the module. There's a quiz that's identified for each of the modules, and this is intended to open at the end of the first week. It will close at the end of the module. Why is that? It opens at the end of the first week to give you time to focus on the learning materials without the added pressure of having to take a quiz during that time. So I've scheduled all of the quizzes to actually open at the end of the first week. One of the questions that I have for you is, do you think that these quizzes are helping you with the content, drill down with the content knowledge? I question the value of quizzes, and I know some people prefer them, some people don't. I typically prefer more structured reflections. I prefer giving you opportunities to annotate and collect resources for the unit. But please let me know if you have some ideas or thoughts on these quizzes. The next component in the modules is the hot topic. And the hot topic, the flow here is that the identified leader begins within the first couple of days to get the group started. Now, hot topic activities will go for the entire duration of the module. And so whatever deliverables are identified would be posted with the end of the module. Another component in the modules is the case study. Now, this one, I'm opening up work for the case study at the beginning of week 2. And the work will conclude at the end of the first week of the next module. Yes, I've made it complicated, haven't I? I have a reason. It's about pacing. And my intention here is to allow you time to work with the learning materials and get your hot topics started. And then you'll begin to apply that content in the case study. I know from using learning theory, and we'll get into learning theories here pretty quickly, but the idea of asking you to start getting acquainted with new content, developing familiarity with that content, and then right on top of that, asking you to apply it, that's not the most effective pacing for learning. So I've got it structured so you'll have time to engage with the learning materials and then begin that really important collaborative experience of engaging with the materials and applying it to a case. And then that will overlap with the start of the next module. Also, the final component of each module is a benchmark in creating your individual project. So I've created a video that's going to address the individual project specifically, but let me give you just a very brief overview. So the individual project, what is it? This should be a designed learning intervention that you select and develop based on your interests and goals. So some things to point out here, that yes, it should be a designed learning intervention or something that you're designing based on a problem space. It should involve a designed learning intervention. It should integrate the goals and the content of the course, involve integration of learning theory and instructional models. It will need to include a presentation. And as I said previously, there are milestones within each module to walk you through compiling the deliverables for this individual project. So let me go into a little bit about my approach to teaching and learning, because I know it's very different than the way a lot of other professors structure their courses. And I know it takes a little bit of getting used to. But the way I look at things, that life is already hard enough. Our learning space and our time together should really focus on the things that matter. What I consider most important is your learning and the collective learning of the class, and that's my priority. And so what do I mean by that? I mean that center of this course's design, at the center of what I do and why I do it, is your needs. And the way that I can keep things on track is through your feedback. So I want you to think about that as I'm going through the rest of the components of my approach. So, one thing that a lot of students get confused about is that for me, I view deadlines as milestones. I don't believe that arbitrary deadlines should cause you undue stress or compromise your learning, especially with the amount of collaborative learning that we have going on in this course. Sometimes it's difficult to get members of a team together, and deadlines that are just, like I said, arbitrarily set by the instructor should not impose undue hardship or stress on you. So I encourage you to ask for what you need, and in turn, you can expect from me to receive a judgment-free environment. I want to support the things that I want to support you having a life-work balance that's appropriate and works for you, especially as many of you are just getting started again in your grad program. I encourage you to interpret instructions to your best benefit. By that I mean, as you're reading the instructions, if you see a way to tweak an assignment so that you can develop an outcome that's going to matter the most to you in your career, do it. Let me know. Talk to me. I want you to take risks in making assumptions about instructions. I want you to understand that I don't penalize students who use their best judgment in reading assignments, assignment instructions, and moving forward. So no fear of grade penalties as you're taking some risks there. What happens if you turn in an assignment that isn't exactly what I'm looking for? We have a conversation. We talk about it. I may ask for, your insight on a part that I see as missing. But there's no penalty for that. And the caveat that I have to add, although I've learned probably isn't a component that I need to worry about too much in this class, but as long as I see that you're exerting a lot of effort and you're really working to accomplish the outcome, no penalty. This is collaborative. We work together. And so micro details for assignments, unless specified as non-negotiable, they can be negotiable. For example, if I ask you to create a pitch and I say, hey, I'd like you to do it in this way, this way, and this way. If you see a better way of doing that that's going to meet the needs of your project more effectively, let's talk. No harm, no foul there. I get a lot of questions about formatting for assignments, and I think sometimes when courses have students write papers, it's pretty easy to do an overview of formatting and just say, okay, follow APA guidelines. For this, we're going to be doing a lot of different types of assignments, and so I encourage you to do what's reasonable. If you're using text, just make sure that it's a font size that works, that's readable. I always say that brief is better, and smart formatting is better as well. So please take creative license in finalizing your submissions, and just make them effective in terms of readability and efficient in terms of supporting the outcomes the individual assignment. So I hope that I've given you a little bit more clarity on the process of learning throughout this course, the way that the assignments will be rolling out in each of the modules, and hopefully lowered the stakes a little bit, lowered the tension a little bit in terms of the rigidity that I know sometimes comes along with being in school. So as always, if you have any questions, if you have any comments that you want to make, if you have any feedback, I always welcome that. And as I've said, this is your learning space, and I look at my role and my job as facilitating your learning. So whatever you can do to help me be more effective, I absolutely welcome.